What's good, everybody? Spektrades back here. In this video, I'm just gonna go over this setup right here. This is one of my favorite models, so make sure you guys stay tuned throughout this whole video because this model right here happens every single week. And in this video, I'm gonna go over a full top-down analysis from the higher time frames all the way to the lower time frames to see exactly how this trade played out right here. This was the before of the setup right here, and this was the after. Price came right inside of this fair value gap to then extend lower to clear our Asian lows right here. So without further ado, let's hop right into this video. The number one thing we should be doing before we scale down on the lower time frames is our top down analysis. We have to start on the higher time frames and see exactly where price came from to develop a bias to then scale down on the lower time frames and have that narrative to catch our trade. First, we have to see exactly where did price come from, right? We see that price came down from these old lows. Price give us a liquidity sweep of these old lows to then rallying higher. As you can see, price give us a liquidity sweep right here of these prior old lows, and this is where this rally started, right? After this liquidity sweep, price started rallying higher. And up here, we see that we have this volume imbalance. When you see a gap in price action like this right here, you should be anticipating for price to pull back inside of these gaps right here to fill this. But on this rally, price started giving us this displacement move. Where did this move come from, right? Me personally, all of this right here is noise, right? All of this is noise because all of this is back price action. I always want to look at the recent price action, right? So this right here, where did this move come from, right? Why did this drop lower happen, right? So we see that price came right inside of this broken order block right here, right? As you can see, look how clean this aligned perfectly, right? This order block right here was supposed to hold to push price higher. Price was supposed to come inside of this order block to use it to then push to price higher. But we see that price pushed down lower and violated this order block. So now this has become a inversion order block now. When price comes inside of it, it's going to act as a resistance point for price to push down lower. Now we have our 4-hour bias, right? This is where price is reacting from. Now we can scale down on the lower time frames on the 1 hour. And now on the 1 hour is the next thing I usually do, and I always tell you guys to mark out is your previous session highs or your previous session lows or your previous day highs or your previous day lows. As you can see, this right here is our previous day lows right here. So this is a point of liquidity. We said price rally is higher and tap inside of this 4-hour broken order block right here. This is where this reaction is coming from. So after we get this reaction right here, all we're looking for is a displacement, right? Another thing that I usually use is my Asian range indicator. I use this a lot. It's called Range Box by Nephew Sam. When I scale down to the lower time frames, I'll be explaining this even more. But this right here is our indicator right here, right? It shows us our Asian range and where it may lie. So now let's get down to the 15-minute time frames to see the overall picture. And also I want to give a big shout out to one of my students, Tony. She was one of my first students on the Patreon. She got scammed over $2,000 by a trading guru, and then she joined the Patreon for just $30 and learned more on the Patreon than when she spent $2,000. But yeah, she believed in me and my brother, and we were able to help her a lot. And now she's earning $1,500 on 3 funded accounts. She's able to pass fundeds now, master the strategy, and just go a long way. Like this right here is why me and my brother do this. And as you can see, this is not just me or my brother, right? This is just our students doing this too. The proof is in the pudding. Spark will take over in 2025, and I believe it. So make sure you guys are just staying tuned and just work with us and grow with us. And now we're on the 15-minute time frames. As you can see, this was our Asian range indicator. As you can see, price tap inside of our 4-hour broken order block right here. Let's get back to the 4-hour. This was the zone right here that price started giving us this reaction, this broken order block right here. Now let's get back down to the 15 minutes, right? We have all of our higher time frame zones marked up. This is our higher time frame for our volume imbalance, and this is our 4-hour broken order block. We're just looking for a zone for price to pull back into. As you can see, just like I stated, after price tap inside of our higher time frame zone, the first thing that I'm looking for is a liquidity sweep inside of that zone. We see that price rally is higher and give us a liquidity sweep all inside of this 4-hour broken order block. The second thing I look for is a displacement move, where price is giving us the direction where it wants to go. As you can see right here, this was our clean displacement move. After price pull back and mitigate this lower time frame zone right here, price extend lower to give us this clean displacement right here. This is where smart money steps in. On the pullbacks, we'll either use a fair value gap, order blocks, or breaker blocks to then extend lower to opposing side of liquidities. As you guys can see right here, what did price leave us, right? We see price leaves us this fair value gap right here, and we have this broken old low all aligned inside of this fair value gap. So we can use this whole range right here, this whole fair value gap range, and align with this broken old low right here perfectly. So me personally, I always tend to use the open right? I'm gonna advise you guys to use the open of the fair value gaps just because you don't know where price may pull back to. And my stop loss goes right above old highs, and I target opposing side lows. As you can see, we have our Asian lows right here. So this right here is a clean 1-2 setup right here. Boom. So I want to see price pull back, mitigate my fair value gap to then extend lower to clear my old lows right here. Now let's play price, and boom. As you can see, this setup right here kind of happens every single week, right? This setup is just one of my bread and butters, right? This is just one of the first examples. Now let's go over another example of this exact setup. As you guys can see right here, this is another one of the setups right here that I use this exact model with. The first thing, just like I stated, is that I want to mark out my points of liquidity. We have our London session highs and we have our Asian session lows, and this is our range where price is playing from. So we see that price rallies higher and give us a liquidity sweep. That's the first thing I look for, is that liquidity sweep of my session highs, of prior old highs, or when price is tapping inside of our zone. So after I get this liquidity sweep, I want to see a clean displacement lower. We see that price push down lower. This is where the institutions step in, right? We see that price push down lower and give us a clean breakup structure of these old lows right here. So after this breakup structure right here, this is the zone I want to see price pull back into to then extend lower to opposing lows, right? As you can see, I'm just going to grab this breaker right here, this whole range. This is going to be my zone and my entry right at the open. And I'm targeting my stop loss always at old highs, either at this old high or the breaker high, right? Perfect. And I'm targeting the same opposing lows. Now let's play price and see exactly how this trade played. And boom. As you guys can see, price pulled back to mitigate my breaker to then extend lower to clear my opposing lows. This setup right here happens every single week and multiple times a week. So make sure you guys go on your charts and backtest this for yourself so you can see it also. Well, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below what you think. And also make sure you guys give a big shout out to Tony in the comments for her accomplishments. Also, great job, Tony. And this is it. Spektrades out.